Greetings, fellow cooks. Marcelino Bernie from Dr. Flavor. Today we have a real treat because today we have a Cuban classic. Are you ready for this? Chicken and rice. Now, for those of you who are Cuban American or Hispanic and always wanted to have a nice meal, make a nice meal with chicken and rice, one that was just like your mom made, well, this is your opportunity. And for those who never had a Hispanic mom but want to cook like one, definitely this is the show. Right here, right now on Dr. Flavor. Okay, so let's check out some of the ingredients over here. First of all, we have 2 medium-sized onions and chopped colored peppers, like red and like yellow. 2 of them. All right. We have 3 teeth of garlic, crushed and chopped. We have some fresh green beans. We have some roasted red peppers at the final end. We have culantro, which is, if you have fresh culantro, use it. But up here we don't have fresh culantro, so we have this Goya product that once you open, you definitely want to keep in the refrigerator. We have chicken thighs, and I like chicken thighs because it definitely has more flavor. I want to chop it up, bite size, and in addition to that, I like to take off the skin because if you cook with the skin, it's going to become rubbery, not very tasty at all, and I like to take a lot of the grease and fat off. Now, when you're doing this chicken, one of the things that you have to understand is that the legitimate chicken and rice has bone-in chicken. But unfortunately, I don't like to use bone-in chicken because it's too much of a hassle. And the flavor profile is not that far from. So we have some tomato sauce. We have some diced tomatoes here. We have some chopped olives and pimento. And you can crush the olives and pimento, but this is fine. I like to use Budweiser because a full flavor beer is always a good thing for this. I won't drink it, but I will cook with it. All right. 1.5 cups of rice. We're not making a whole lot of rice because my wife wants to make small portions for us. At this time, it's just my wife and I. So we're cooking small batch. So we have Sazon Goya right here, bay leaves, my favorite Badias complete seasoning, or Sazon completo, black pepper, cumin, a little bit of oregano, and as I mentioned, rice. 1.5 cups of, I like to cook with basmati rice, okay? So it's very predictable for me, it's simple. Now, 1.5 cups of basmati rice. What does that mean? As far as the liquids are concerned, we're going to be using 3 cups. Okay, so the proportions are 2 to 1. And remember, Chef Jean-Pierre, he says, don't use water when you're cooking. We're using beer, we're using chicken broth. And the reason why we have 2 different types of oil here is because avocado oil we're going to use to actually fry up some of the chicken. And at the end, we're going to dress it up with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And that's not very complicated, and it's going to be flavorful. Okay, so start it by putting in 1/3 cup of avocado oil, and we're going to drop our chicken in there. And as I've said before, my induction cooking top doesn't take much time. Starts getting hot real quick. I absolutely love it. As we're cooking the chicken, you understand that this amount of chicken is going to give out a little bit more water. Okay, so the chicken started to do what I didn't want, and that is started boiling. So I took out this much liquid and left it on the side, and now I'm going to put the chicken back in there. And I'm going to fry this up a little bit. Okay, so started frying a little bit, which is good. Now I'm going to put the onions and peppers. I prefer to make this is what makes up the sofrito. I prefer to do this separately and do this ahead of time. That's why I always keep some sofrito in the refrigerator that I made previously. But I'm going to show you exactly how we make the sofrito for the chicken as we go along. So putting in the onions and the peppers actually helped deglaze a little bit the pan, because it was starting to stick a little bit on the bottom, and so that's helped a great deal. Now that the sofrito is starting to soften up a little bit, we're going to go ahead and start adding the spices. So we're going to start off with a little bit of oregano. About half a teaspoon. Cumin. Half a teaspoon. Black pepper. And that'll be about two-thirds of a teaspoon. Sazon completo. Love this stuff. We're going to put in a teaspoon. A little bay leaves, a third, Sazon Goya, yeah baby, and this is going to be really good. All right, so let's mix all this stuff in. And now you know that you're in business because you can smell the aroma when everything is cooking together. Oh yeah, the flavors are there. All right. So I'm going to cover this up right now and just let it cook for a few minutes, and then we're going to continue to add stuff. So I uncovered it. I moved the bottom around a little bit. Stuff that was starting to stick, moved it around. So now we have most of our spices in there right now. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in the tomato sauce and also, get rid of a little bit of the juice from the tomato, because we have very precise measurements here. So we're going to add the tomatoes with a little bit of pepper in there. And we're going to start moving that around. Oh yeah. Has great odor, great smell. Please don't take me seriously. I'm not saying odor. It has a very positive odor, so it's I would call it fragrance. What the heck, fragrance. It's that good. So we're going to let this cook a little bit. So let's put in now the other elements. The culantro, 2 teaspoons of culantro. All right. The next thing we're going to add is the garlic. One thing about fresh garlic is that you don't want to put it in to fry. It has to actually cook into it, but don't fry the garlic. Got great color, and the flavor profile is already starting to show up. All right. What we're going to do is now we're going to add some olive and pimento with the juice. Nothing wrong with the juice. All right. About 1/3 of a jar. My wife likes lots of olives. And we're going to let this cook for a little bit. I want you to remember the amount of liquid in here does not count for the rice that we're going to make. Okay, this is just very thick and is part of the substance here. Okay, so at this point what we're going to do is we're going to add 1.5 cups of beer. If you don't want to use beer, you don't have to use beer. You can use just plain chicken stock. Okay? But this is how my mother made it. So, very tasty. So 1.5 cups. So remember, we're making 1.5 cups of rice. So we're going to have to double the amount of liquids in there. So we're going to use a little bit over 1/2 cup of the broth from the initial. And we're going to add, at this point, a cup of chicken broth that I had in the refrigerator. All right. Good, good. So we're going to stir this up. I'm telling you folks, this is really simple. And you're going to see how tasty this is. Unbelievable. Very simple. This is a mother's recipe, okay? Let it mix really well at this point. We're going to put in the green beans. And work them in. All right. Now, very important. You understand I have a lot of these little spoons because they're for tasting. Very, very thin. You don't burn yourself. And you're going to taste this and make sure that it's okay. Very good. It's you could probably use a little bit of salt, so we're going to add a little bit of salt in there. Because the rice itself is going to actually soak up a little bit of the salt. All right, so going to work that in there. But as far as all the flavors that we need, it is just right. So now for the last part, and that is 1.5 cups of rice. So we're going to work the rice in there. I'm going to bring up the heat a little bit because I want it to get really hot. Right after putting in the rice. And we're going to stir the bottom so that it doesn't burn. Not that it's going to burn anytime too soon after you just simply put it in. All right, so you see it bubbling. It's doing exactly what we want it to do. So we're going to stir this. And now we're going to cover it up. Or bring it down to very low. In our case, with the induction heating, a number 2. And we're going to leave it for 30 minutes. Very predictable, easy recipe. Okay, so 30 minutes are up. Oh, wow. That looks gorgeous. So what we're going to do is just going to, at this point, I add a little drizzle of olive oil. Oh, so you're going to turn it off. And we're going to stir this up. Look at that. That looks fantastic. I'm telling you that this recipe won't let you down. We use exact measurements on the fluids, and it's awesome. Okay, folks, this is it. Looks beautiful. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh man, that is fantastic. Just the way my mother made it for me. So, one of the things I want to ask you to do is just subscribe if you haven't, and share this video and share this channel with other friends, because they won't be disappointed as well. So, once again, I want to thank you for joining me today, and come back next time. This is Marcelino, Your Dr. Flavor signing off.